Hello, everyone. I would like to go over all these 12 questions that, I want you to prepare for the quiz for next week. So this will be made into 3 videos, okay? 3 lessons. Each lesson cover 4 questions. So the first 4 questions that will be from your homework, okay? So this is the first one. And you look at the work we did, right? On the first one, we have factoring. Okay, if you have any issues on factoring, I'm going to, please ask me because these questions have been covered in class. So I'm going to go quick. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit quick. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so it's factored into x minus 5 times x minus 1. Okay, and divided by x minus 5. So you can do this. But remember, we determined the domain, right? So the domain was determined, okay? The domain was determined to be x not equals to 5. So x cannot be 5. X cannot be 5. So under that requirement, we could read, and x minus 5 is not 0. Therefore, we can reduce, we can cross out x minus 5. So as a result, we'll get x minus 1 over 1. Okay, when denominator is 1, that we don't have to write that denominator, that turn into x minus 1. So that was the first question we did in class. The second one, we had domain determination, right? So domain determination, so we're going to do this as a separate step, okay? Domain and x squared minus 12 minus x minus 12. We talk about there are 2 ways we do this, right? If we set it equal to 0, then we know that whatever number that will cause the denominator equals 0 will be excluded from the domain. So when we are solving this equation, we know our goal that is to find the number that will cause the denominator equal to 0 and exclude them from the domain. So then we factor. Okay, so x plus 3 times x minus 4. So please follow me on these steps. Okay, and then afterwards try to do it by yourself. And then we use principle number 5, right? We have two numbers in the product. Okay, so either a equals 0 or b equals to 0. Okay, or x minus 4 equals to 0. Okay, so I'm gonna close the other window. I'm gonna close the other window and make this a full screen. Okay, and we can also remove these parentheses. And the principle we used here, math principle number 5, which is right, for math principle number 5, which is if a times b equals 0, then a equals 0 or b equals to 0. Or b equals to 0. Okay? And then as a result, we get x equals to -3 or x equals to 4 And these are the two numbers that will cause the denominator equals to 0. Therefore, they should be excluded from the domain. So as a result, the domain would be all real numbers, but x cannot be, so equal turn into not equal, or turn into and. Okay, the opposite of x equals to -3 or x equals to 4 is x not equal to -3 and x is not equals to 4. Okay, so make sure you understand that logic and think about it. So that's how we determine domain using one of the methods. Okay, the other method, okay, the other way is to set it equals to set the denominator not equal to 0. And then we have to step by step, we have to think logically. If the product is not a 0, then when we factor, the product is not 0. So what will be the mathematical? So this mathematical principle will turn into what? This will turn into, if the product is not a 0, then A cannot be 0, B cannot be 0, and they must both be guaranteed, or turn into N. So that's the opposite of that principle. Okay? i.e., if the product of two number is not 0, then A cannot be 0, and B cannot be 0. Okay? So make sure you understand that, think about it. Okay? And then if the product is not 0, then x plus 3 cannot be 0. So x plus 3 cannot be 0. Okay? And x minus 4 cannot be 0. Only when both are not 0, the product can be not 0. As a result, x cannot be -3 and x cannot be +4. And that will be the domain right there. That will be the domain right there. So we have determined the domain, and the next part we're going to reduce. Okay, so we have determined the domain, and then we're going to reduce it. Okay, reducing it, we're going to factor the top, and on your scratch paper, you can do the factoring, but we have done the factoring. If you have any issues with these basic factorings, please let me know, and I will, I can give you a pointer for today for the guidance on factoring. Okay, so it's x plus 3 times x minus 4. And all of these work we do is in the domain, i.e. x cannot be -3. If x cannot be -3, then x plus 3 cannot be 0. If x plus 3 cannot be 0, then we can reduce it. So we will end up with x over x minus 4. Okay, so remember, these steps can only be performed, the reduction can only be done if the domain requirements are satisfied. All right? So number 3, domain, this one is more obvious. Okay, domain will be x cannot be +2. Okay, so we will be reducing the function in the domain. right? So x minus 2 stays. The top will be factored into x minus 2 times x minus 3. Make sure you have the right factors, okay? And then, because x is in the domain, it cannot be 2, therefore x minus 2 is not 0. If x minus 2 is not 0, we can reduce it, so the result will be x minus 3. That's number 3. Number 4, domain. Okay, to find the domain. To find the domain, we can also do two different ways, okay? So x to the power 3 plus 8 equal to 0, okay? And then x raised to the power 3 would be equals to negative 8. Negative 8 is negative 2 to the power of 3. The result, x is going to be equals to negative 2. So negative 2 is a number that cause the denominator equals to 0. Therefore, for domain, x cannot be negative 2. And the other way would be you set it not to, right? You set this instead of equal to 0, we just started with setting the denominator not equal to 0 to start with. And the next step, we're going to have x would not be equals to negative 8. And of course, as a result, negative 8 is equals to negative 2 to the power of 3. And as a result, x cannot be equals to negative 2. So that would be the domain we are looking for. Okay? So reducing it, we use the formula. Okay, we use the formula, and these two formula. I want you to write it down on your card in case you need it. Okay, so a to the power 3 plus b to the power 3. Okay, I don't expect you to remember, but you want to be able to find it when you need it, and that's going to be a squared minus ab plus b squared. And to pair with this, and there's another formula, which is a to the power 3 minus b to the power 3, and this will be negative, and that will be positive. Okay, so these two formula are rather useful, but they're useful, but we use it sometimes. Okay, I would not say we never use it, but we use it sometimes. Okay, so as an algebra practice, these formula was given, given in your algebra classes, and we use this sometimes. We use them sometimes, and here we have determined a domain, so we're going to reduce it. Apply the formula to x raised to the power 3 plus 8, right? So you apply that formula on the scratch paper, and 8 is seen as 2 to the power 3. And then you're going to have, so capital A is x, 2 is b, right? So that you get x plus 2 multiply x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay, so that will replace the denominator. Okay, and the top is x plus 2. because x is in the domain, x plus 2, x cannot be negative 2, therefore x plus 2 will not be 0, therefore we can reduce x plus 2. So it's the, these are the reasons we have for the steps. So x plus 2 is canceled, and then we'll be left with this 1 parentheses for the denominator, and the numerator will be left with only 1, and so that will be the result. Okay, so these are the first 4 questions we have. We did it in slightly different order, and I will make another lesson for the next 4 questions. So please follow me step by step if you have hard time with these questions. Okay, thank you for watching.